Hello, 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 and welcome to the stream. This is our seventh, eighth. I don't know. It seems like it's adding up quickly, but
Mm, Probably seventh.
nice, nice. Well, good to see you, Kelly. How was your week then?
It's been one of those weeks. It's been
Seems
a
like it
lot of
seems like
stuff
every
happening.
week. It seems
Right.
like every week around Tuesday, and sometimes around Monday afternoon. I'm like, this has been the longest week ever. But and then by the time it gets to Thursday, I'm like, I can't even believe it. But we have a fun we're gonna have a fun stream today. We're gonna have we have a great guest, Ryan Root, and I want to introduce him by asking you from your experience about a scenario, because Ryan has a case study to share with us, and I just thought it was interesting. That's why I had him here. I'm like, I want to use this on the stream. So just you used to work at a large integrator, and you'd have
Yeah.
big, you know, companies or universities come to you and say, we need to do a big job. So let me give you a theoretical big job. I work for a university, and we have two IT people, just two IT people, and five or six part-time students that help, but they're not IT staff, they're students that help. And we
Right.
have 200 classrooms that we want to outfit with audio. Now,
Okay.
you know me, I'm let's do video because video is easy. And once it's set up, if it looks right, it's right. Audio is so hard because it sounds right if I'm standing here, but it doesn't sound right if I'm standing there. And with different people are speaking in different volumes in different rooms. Audio is so hard. So I want to set up 200 rooms. And I don't want to set them up for 2 semesters from now, real time. We need to set them up audio. Audio in, audio out, microphone speakers, different sizes, all sorts of setup. How many texts is your integrator firm going to have to send to help me to get this done?
200 classrooms times microphones times connections and I don't know, maybe a small army, perhaps.
Right? That's what I would think. And that's why, we love our integrators. They help us with this stuff. But Ryan is saying with STEM Audio, he sent the gear, and their two IT people and the six students got it all done themselves because
How
it's
long did it
all.
take?
Well, let's bring on Ryan and find out, because when he sent me this material, I'm like, this is a little bit
Hello.
too good to be true. Hey Ryan, welcome to the new studio.
Hello.
Great to have you here.
Wait, I look down here. Oh wait, it'd be this way, right? Hi
There
guys.
you go. Get our angles right. Last time I saw you was Infocom 100 years ago.
Yeah.
We're all virtual now.
The days of trade shows.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so tell me about this case study. Am I exaggerating, or is that pretty much what happened?
You're pretty much on point. Let me give like the quickest maybe background of like what STEM audio is, just to catch everybody up. I mean, I could talk about this for hours. Of course, it's the number one thing I'm most passionate about. But just so everybody knows, STEM audio, our slogan tagline is the conference room ecosystem. This is going to be audio for really any room that you're running video conferencing in. So we're called the conference room ecosystem, but just like the case study we'll talk about today, we're heavily in the education space. A lot of universities have been reaching out and installing mass installs across their entire campuses of STEM audio products in order to make their classrooms equipped for distance learning, right? So we know that a lot of students are either not able to come to class or they're a very limited number. So there was this scramble over, let's say, the last like 6 months to figure that all out. I think a lot of people kind of figured this out a little late, and that's why there's this massive struggle to, even inventory has been a struggle for a lot of manufacturers right now because there's just such a big need right now. But if we jump back to what you were talking about a minute ago, yes, I mean, we just came out with this amazing case study with Azusa Pacific University. Jonathan Lord heads their AV there and classroom technology. And he basically came to us and said, I have to outfit about 217 classrooms, I believe it was. I need to do it quick. I have a couple weeks to do so. And we, sent him some units to test. And he did a really great job of testing our units against all the other ones he was considering. And we came out on top, which to me is no surprise. He was really, really impressed with the pickup quality of our devices. And that was most important to them because when you have this distance learning model for classrooms right now, in some cases, they have students in the classroom and they also need to be heard. Well, what a lot of universities, or maybe let's say all of them, they're really trying to recreate the experience that a student would have when they're in the classroom, right? So even though they're at home, we no longer just want to pick up the professor, which I think has been kind of like the standard for a while now, is we really want them to be able to feel like they're a part of the class. If a student in the back of the room has a question, we want the student at home who is learning from a distance to hear them. So long story short, and I guess we can continue to answer a few questions about this if you have any. But Jonathan went with STEM audio. I believe it's somewhere around like 100 STEM wall units and another 100 STEM table units, just based on the needs of each classroom. And these were all installed in weeks. But with that, I even highlight. I'd call Jonathan on certain days, and Jonathan would be like, yeah, this is awesome. Today, I went to one of our campuses. We needed to install 20 rooms, and we did it in a couple hours. Right. So over a couple weeks span, but when it really comes down to the installation process, he's in and out of each room and definitely under, let's say, 30 minutes, because there's a very straightforward process to STEM devices. And most of it is just plugging it in and turning it on. And you're ready to go. There's no advanced programming involved. You don't have this crazy certification process. And that's typically what it's always been, right? For large rooms, you need to have someone program your audio, and it's a very complicated process in order to reach a large room and get that kind of coverage. But that's no longer the case with STEM.
Yeah, when I first came into this industry and I learned what a DSP was and how to program, I'm like, oh my God, I think I might just stick with video because I don't know if I'm smart enough to handle audio. It's really really hard. And actually, when I saw this case study, I was surprised, but I wasn't surprised. You saw, Kelly was surprised when we don't need not only do we not need an army, we don't need anyone except for
Yeah.
the people that were there. But let me go back to when I first met Ryan. STEM was still top secret. You were giving me previews, but you couldn't tell me everything yet. And you were like, David, this is going to be different. This is going to be different. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
you don't know how often I hear from vendors, this is going to be different. This is going to be different. But I knew STEM was coming from a history of really good audio products, so I expected some good gear. And the briefing that I got when you guys first came out, I realized it wasn't about the gear. And some of what I got from this description was, yeah, the gear is good. The customer, part of the reason they made the purchase was because they liked the devices themselves. But what blew my mind is the STEM, I guess the ecosystem is what you call it. And Kelly, just so you understand, it's really cool. Usually you go into a room and you look at the room and like, where am I going to put the microphones? Well, where are people sitting? Well, I guess if some are sitting there, we might need a microphone there. Well, do we need a ceiling mic or do we need do we need a table mic or what should we do? STEM has this thing where it like acoustically maps out the room, and you can in software like what are those games? What are those games where you build a little house and a little family? Sim Life and those like
Sims.
light.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's like sim audio meeting room. You say, what happens in software if I put a speaker here and it says your coverage will be this? What happens if I put it there? Oh, you'll get an echo here. You don't want that, and you pick out what you want before you even put it in the room.
Right.
So
What you're referencing is our room design tool, which is on our website. And exactly like you said, before you purchased any devices, you can check out, okay, what would my estimated coverage be, and you're good to go.
Yep. And so before you start, let's say you have a room and you're deciding if you want two mics or three mics, and if you only have two mics, you have a dead spot. And the boss
Mhm.
says, I only want two mics there. Before you do it, you say, boss, there's going to be a dead spot there. And then when you build the room and the boss is standing there and no one can hear him or her, you say, I told you beforehand. You said you were okay with it. If you want the third mic, we'll put it in now. It totally covers you from a designer point of view. And then when you get the devices, you don't have to do that programming DSP stuff that I never wanted to have to learn. You just plug it all in and it's exactly like it was in the software and it just works. So
So is
understanding
this
how STEM works, I'm not surprised that they were able to just kind of plug and play and have it all work.
So I get the like education application because I feel like people in higher education, like the IT people and the AV folks, are pretty knowledgeable about how to, install some of this stuff. But if you're kind of an average Joe, is it just as easy, like in a different type of application? Perhaps if you're like a small business and you want to have like a video conferencing room or something, is it still pretty plug and play, or would you recommend, like, do you guys kind of help them, or how do you handle that?
Yeah, good question. I think one thing we set out to do from the very beginning is like, this is literally like day one mission statement. Like, what kind of company are we going to be when we design this product? Like, how do we want to be seen? And through the design process, like, what are we going to adhere to the whole time? And what that was is we wanted to bring consumer standards to the B2B world. So like, Kelly, think about the last electronic product you purchased. Maybe it was a phone, or I don't know. Is there something you can think of that you want to throw out there?
Let's see. The last electronic I purchased, probably a pair of headphones.
Perfect. When you pulled those headphones out of the box, did you read? Maybe you're the type of person that does, but did you read the whole user manual to see how to use the headphones?
No, I googled like the top features.
Yeah, no, exactly. But
What do I need to know?
exactly. But the thing with consumer products, right? If you think about our phones, usually they just work right out of the box, right? Like, there's not this whole lengthy process of learning how to program something.
Right.
One example that my CEO, Jacob Marash, brought to the table is like, I think he has like a Google Home setup, right? Or like a panel in his home. And it's very intuitive, right? There's big buttons, it's like kind of an iPad look. And it's something just like any Apple product. I feel like your grandma doesn't need a whole lot of training on it, can kind of figure it out. So there's this standard on the consumer world, and we wanted to bring that to the B2B world, because if you look traditionally in the B2B world, especially with audio, I wish I could pull up just like an image of, I don't want to hate on any of our competitors, but looking at like a programming software, it's just a lot of lines, like hundreds of lines to different things. And that's just nothing that I could ever figure out. So we wanted to be able to have anyone understand it. And that was like something that we thought about from the beginning.
That's cool.
Yeah, basically to answer your question, this isn't something just for that like 20-year IT AV veteran. We're seeing like office operations managers, because that's oftentimes in like your small to medium businesses, like maybe they don't have a full-time IT department, and it's just the office manager who's saying, hey, I was just tasked with, I need audio for our conference room, and you guys look like it's not that hard to do. We're like, no, we'll walk you through it. And I think you actually asked, like, do we help people? And absolutely, like, one of the major focuses of STEM Audio is like customer happiness. We have a whole customer happiness department, and they're on the phone with every single customer we have, walking them through the process, and making sure that they have a successful installation.
That's awesome. So someone like me could actually install it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the process of installation is literally, we say, grab your device out of the box, place it where you need it, mount it to the ceiling, to the wall, place it on the table, plug it in. It only requires a single Ethernet, is PoE plus. And then if it's a standalone device, you're going to just connect your USB right to your PC. If not, we have a hub, which I don't even want to get into the technicals today, but you can check it out on our website, stemaudio.com. But once you've plugged it in, you just assign it to the room on our ecosystem platform, and you're up and running. Like, there's no programming. There's some other tools to like optimize your devices for the room, and you literally push a button and they emit sounds and they understand the acoustics of your room and they optimize for it. So we took programming that usually takes hours and we made it one button that takes 5 seconds.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That might be my favorite part, the optimizing, because that's that whole DSP stuff I was talking about before. You can put a microphone in a room, and if it's a high quality microphone, it will sound good. but there's so much other stuff you could do. There's background noise suppression and echo canceling and you know uh,
I didn't
gain
get that.
boosting
Could you try
and
again?
oh sorry.
Siri's talking to me.
Siri thought I was talking to her.
Yeah, I guess so.
By the way, that's a good video conferencing trick. If someone hey Siri, play Metallica. She won't do it. She won't do it.
Oh no.
but, but usually when you set up audio equipment, then you have to configure it. And how do you do that?
Well, thanks, David. Somehow it did
worked?
it.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's
Oh,
hilarious.
man.
Metallica.
Oh,
You're
my
too
God.
funny, man.
I'm gonna make that. That is a stream feature. I'm gonna try to do that to every guest. We have a counter. We're gonna have a counter on stream. We got one so far.
Never bringing my phone to a meeting again. You got me.
I'm so happy. That really worked. Okay. But anyway,
That's too funny.
you set up the microphones, you set up the speakers, and then how do they sound? Oh my God, now my Siri's talking. So how do they sound? So you don't know. The only way to know is you go in the room, you have someone recording somewhere, and you start talking. And you walk
Right.
around the room, and if it's a music room, classrooms have music, you got to play music in them, different parts of the room, and how does it sound on different and then okay, so I think it sounds a little too gainy. Oh, I got to go into the programming and reduce the gain. Well, did that mess up the background noise suppression? Now we got to fix that. You could spend all day, and every time you make a change, you got to make a new recording to listen to it again. You could spend months fine-tuning a room. And the way STEM Audio does, once you put in the speakers and microphones, I guess you walk out of the room and press a button or something, and it does like you said, it does a beep that no one hears, and then inside it starts doing stuff in its software, and then it's configured.
Yeah, exactly. So I have STEM control here right next to me. You're not required to use a control unit when you're running STEM in any room, but it has its advantages. Basically, I think the biggest one to the everyday user is you can set it like a Zoom room, walk in, start your meeting immediately, but it also has all the background like ecosystem settings. So I could run room adapt right on there, and yeah, just push a button. I'm still in the room, and I just stay quiet for a few seconds. The devices are going to make some weird alien sounds, and then after like 10 seconds, they just all optimize.
What are the alien sounds?
It's just like a weird high-pitched sound that tests the room.
You have like dogs running towards you?
No, but you actually just reminded me of a new feature we added, which is kind of hilarious to me, at least. So each device like sources an IP address, and prior to our latest update, you'd have to do some technical stuff that I think only an AV guy can do. Jump on your server and source the IP address of the device. But we added this feature where on the wall and table units, you hold down the plus and minus volume at the same time for like 5 seconds, and then it reads it out. But we needed a voice for that. So Claire on my marketing team, we had her become the voice of STEM Audio. So like when you do that it's kind of like an Easter egg. I like to call it that, but it's also a very common tool that people use. But you just hold it down and then Claire reads you the IP address of any of your devices.
That's so cool.
Nice.
Can we hear it?
I don't think so. A lot of these features don't work during meetings for the reason that it would interrupt the meeting. Yeah.
Only Siri.
Oh, Claire
Crap,
gets
I
to
did
be
it again,
famous.
didn't I?
No,
Yeah. So if you ever in a room with STEM Audio and you want to show people a cool little trick, just hold down plus and minus volume for 5 seconds and it'll start talking to you.
Is there music playing somewhere?
Oh,
Not in here.
Am I losing my mind?
No, I just had a garbage truck drive by.
Oh,
that
it
was
sounded like the
probably
White
it.
Stripes.
You like the White Stripes? Oh,
It sounded like the White
have to
Stripes.
talk about that.
There's birds chirping too. Maybe that's maybe they're singing the White Stripes.
By the way, I just noticed something funny. So the way I stream this to make this work is Kelly and Ryan are in a Zoom meeting, and I'm bringing them into here using OBS. And to make Kelly look transparent, not have her background, Kelly has a green background behind her, and I'm getting rid of the green. But since Ryan is in the meeting, is in the same screen, I chromed out Ryan's screen. So Ryan, this is really funny.
Is that why?
That's
I
why
noticed
your background
that.
has the blue things. That's my you actually have a green wall here.
Uh-huh.
That's hilarious. And I'm wondering, why do you look different on Zoom than you look in OBS? It's like, 'cause I'm getting rid of your green.
Oh, that makes sense now. Yeah. Our back wall here is green. A lot of things are green here at STEM Audio.
That's a good color.
I see that. That's cool.
One more quick Ryan story, because I always thought this was so cool. One of my first impressions of Ryan when he first started working there, and STEM came out, they had a giveaway, some sort of contest on Twitter and the prize was one of those headset things, those Oculus Rift things or something like that,
Yeah,
or a
yeah,
competitor. And you made a 1 minute YouTube Twitter teaser video saying, "Hey, sign up here for our giveaway," and da da da. And you did the no look catch thing. I thought that was so cool. I love that. So Kelly, picture this: Ryan is walking down the hall towards the camera, saying, "Here at STEM Audio, we're doing this. We have this giveaway, and we're giving away an Oculus Rift." And he puts his hand up, and someone off screen throws it in, and he doesn't look at them, and he just catches it and keeps talking. How many takes did that take?
Yeah, David, we did that on the first take, okay? And I'm sticking to the story.
That was
That's funny.
hilarious. I'm like, oh, I still haven't found an excuse, but I'm going to work that into something. I gotta do a video with a no look catch.
We love pushing the envelope here, and we think it's a really fun industry to be in, and to add a little bit of entertainment to our marketing makes my job one of the best in the world. So we got a great team here. We got a lot of exciting things coming out. There's even more products getting added to the STEM ecosystem. We haven't even talked about that yet, and I haven't been confirmed to share what those will be yet. I'll let you know right when I know I can share that. But yeah, I mean, that's just one aspect of the ecosystem is we're going to continue to add products, not only from our end, but certified products that work in the ecosystem. We have some cameras that we recommend, some smart boards. But yeah, a lot of good stuff happening here.
How big is STEM Audio?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So big.
Huge?
Basically like the biggest.
Just
And
curious.
growing. And growing.
Yeah, we're growing. I think we doubled in size in the last year.
That's awesome.
And we're growing very, very fast.
So, one quick question for our audience, since this is Let's Do Video. When people are outfitting these rooms, especially pandemic, when we come back from the pandemic, we're going to go back into our meeting rooms, but half of us are still going to be working from home. So every room's going to have to be a video room. And I'm assuming a lot of our viewers are thinking about outfitting those video rooms. So, is this, if I have a Zoom room, or I have a Blue Jeans room, or I have a whatever room, can I have STEM Audio with that, or am I locked into whatever those bundles are from those companies?
No, I mean, we're absolutely compatible with anything. At the end of the day, you could consider STEM Audio like a USB audio solution because it's going to connect to your PC that's running your video conferencing. So it makes it compatible with anything. I think if you have a question about that, just reach out to our customer happiness, tech support teams. They, handle those kind of things every day. But yeah, there's, a wide range of compatibility with the STEM ecosystem. One thing, are we okay on time? Because you're just jogging my memory. What's that?
Yeah. We have
Okay.
we have no schedule for these things. We just do them.
Awesome. Because you kind of brought up this thought that I've had, and maybe kind of weigh in on your opinion. Would you agree that for the last couple years, everyone's been talking about the huddle room, right? I feel like that's just the topic of what we could call it 2018, 2019 is huddle rooms, and getting maybe an all-in-one product into those. But in those rooms are designed for let's say 1 to 3, maybe up to 4 people, but then we kind of go into a small conference room. I am wondering what you're thinking the future of huddle rooms looks like. Did that change this year?
In my, and it's always it's scary and dangerous to predict the future, but my prediction is, I don't want to huddle with anyone. I think huddle is getting out of the marketing. We're not going to be huddling. I think we should be talking about social distancing rooms. I think what used to be a 3-person huddle space is going to be a 1-person video phone booth.
There's no way I'm huddling with anyone.
I am not leaning. I want these directional microphones and these ceiling mics and all these wonderful things that you got, because I do not want to lean into the same microphone with someone else anymore. And that's what we used to do it. everyone lean into the microphone. I want to replace huddle rooms with social distancing rooms. The room that you're in right now, that's a 10-person room, something like that.
Yeah, I think because if I zoom out, you see a few more chairs. It's like 16, I think.
I'm okay with 4 people in that room.
Yeah, I mean, our limit, just so you know, is 6.
Okay,
And
I'm okay.
that's like 3 on each side, spaced out 6 feet apart. And that's the maximum. Our huddle rooms here, we only allow 1 person in them, and they're designed for 3. And our medium-sized conference rooms, we only allow 3 people in them.
That's exactly what I think is gonna happen. And I think
Yeah.
that, it's an opportunity for you to help, for you specifically to help, because that changes the way we need to cover those rooms. We used to
Yeah.
cover those rooms by putting a microphone somewhere and putting a microphone in the middle of the huddle. But if we're not putting a microphone in the middle of the huddle, how do we cover the room? We're going to put a microphone in front of everyone. You got that beamforming stuff. It's up to you. Help.
Right. So I'm literally on calls every day with universities, just getting their stories, and it's probably the funnest part of my job right now. I was on a call with Bryant University yesterday, and they had this problem. Their problem was they had a 300 person, what do they call these? Like a room. There's a certain room for the or a certain name for this room. Like it basically is an auditorium, right? And they used a few different audio products to try to mic up the whole thing. They're not putting 300 people in this room. I don't know the exact number, but it's like probably 20 or something really low, and everyone's very socially distanced. But they could not figure out a way to do it. What they ended up doing is settling on our STEM table devices, and they put them on, let's say, like a board type platform, spaced out throughout the entire auditorium, and they were able to cover the entire space. So I get to hear like really cool use cases like this. I guess they surprise us because it's not like what we originally envisioned. I mean, an auditorium isn't like the space we thought we'd be in, but people are getting creative with our products and solving their problems with it. It's really cool to hear.
It's interesting. On the video side too, it seems like, just we got lucky that we were developing technologies that help with social distancing. The camera
Yeah.
companies were all developing this the intelligent framing. So if people
Yeah.
are sitting in different places in the meeting room, the cameras can switch between them, which happens to be helpful with social distancing. You guys have all your, beamforming and magic stuff that, you don't have to be sitting right in front of the microphone for it to hear you. So helpful with social distancing. And we didn't know this was coming, but on the AV side, we kind of got lucky that the technology was ready to help.
Yeah, definitely.
And a lot of feel good stories like that, which is good because we need them. But like the stories you're telling, you're getting to work with people who are doing cool, innovative stuff with your technology as opposed to just standard install number 500.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's really really cool to see what people are doing with STEM products, and it's just the beginning.
So Kelly, do you have any other questions, or should we wrap
I don't
up? I'm
think
always bad
so.
at
I mean,
wrapping up.
it's awesome at learning about STEM audio because I see you guys all over the place, and I work with a company that is selling your products online, which is super cool. So now I know so much more about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, if you've seen
I
them all
really
over the place,
appreciate it, guys.
that
Thanks
means
for
Ryan's
letting me
doing
share.
means Ryan's
Yeah.
doing a good job if you're seeing him all over the place, I guess. So, how can people find out more, reach you, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I'd say definitely check out stemaudio.com. We make it a fun experience, so you're going to enjoy traveling around our site. We have some demo videos on there, some training videos for customers or someone that just kind of wants to learn a few more things before they jump in and purchase their first STEM room. So check out our website for sure. Again, that's stemaudio.com. And then join us on social media. Pretty much you type in STEM audio in any social media search bar, really, LinkedIn, Facebook, or Twitter, you'll find us, and we're pretty active on there. We even just started a Reddit account so we could help with some questions. We're seeing a lot of people are jumping on Reddit asking questions about STEM products, so we want to be there to help people out. So we're just trying to be a part of the conversation and get people the information they need to outfit their rooms.
Wow,
Awesome.
I was wondering when this industry would realize that Reddit exists and is very powerful. At least someone's on the ball there. Yeah,
Yeah.
to people in our industry, even the kiddies know, right, kiddies? Reddit exists and it's super powerful. We need to learn to use it better.
There they go, man. That's the best part of the whole thing.
We gotta get the kiddies. All right, thank you so much, and thank you, everyone who watched. This replay will be available as soon as we click the end button. And Ryan, it was great to see you. Let's stay in touch. There's no more events, so we got to reach out like this if we wanna see each other.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. This was awesome.
Thanks,
This was
Ryan.
fun. Take care.